Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video tonight I'm going to be talking with you guys about Arsenal Football Club. Obviously, I'm going to give you the news regarding Mikel Arteta, and these lots of other things to currently talk about. So, according to recent reports, Arsenal Football Club are set to announce Mikel Arteta as their new manager within the next 48 hours. I think he's going to sign a three and a half year deal with Arsenal. According to BBC Sport, Man City and Arsenal, have not yet agreed a compensation. I think Man City are demanding around £1 million, to release Mikel Arteta from his contract. Obviously, Mikel Arteta at this present time is the coaching assistant at Man City, and he's actually worked alongside Guardiola for around 3 years. But reports emerged out earlier on this week anyway, saying that Arsenal I've obviously had talks with Man City regarding Arteta. Pep Guardiola did also confirm this, so it's looking very imminent now that Mikel Arteta is going to be their next manager. But maybe this compensation, could be the stumbling block. If they can't come to an agreement on a compensation, both clubs. Obviously, Arsenal have got Freddie Ljungberg in at the moment on a temporary basis. But I think, if Arsenal, did, stick with him, I think he'd ruin his legacy because, he hasn't got that pedigree as a manager, Ljungberg, but he was a really, really good player for them. But saying that, Mikel Arteta, hasn't got any managerial experience. Don't get me wrong, Mikel Arteta was a very, very good player for them, so he does know the traditions of the football club, but is he the right man, to elevate Arsenal Football Club forward. Arsenal, of course, did lose the weekend at home to Man City by 3-0. I think, they were 3-0 down, was it just after half an hour in the first half. So Arsenal have been very, very inconsistent. Obviously, maybe some Arsenal fans' preference, would have been Ancelotti over Mikel Arteta, because there was speculation the other week about Carlo Ancelotti, possibly, becoming Arsenal's next manager. But obviously now we know he's going to Everton. Obviously, Arsenal had an element of concerns about recommending Carlo Ancelotti in. The news regarding Carlo Ancelotti anywhere. I think he's signed a 3.5 year deal with Everton. Obviously, he has not yet been officially announced as Everton's manager, but I think he will be announced either tomorrow or Friday as Everton's new manager. So, like I said, it is a 3.5 year deal. It did confirm on Monday that Carlo Ancelotti had arrived on Merseyside for negotiations with Everton, and Sky Sports recently confirmed that he'd reached an agreement in principle to become Everton's new manager. I've also been reading recent reports, and it said that Carlo Ancelotti is set to appoint his son and Duncan Ferguson as Everton's assistants. But yeah, maybe, Carlo Ancelotti will do a really, really good job with Everton. Obviously, Everton have got Duncan Ferguson in at the moment on a temporary basis. He's obviously only managed 2 games so far. This is his 3rd game he's managing tonight against Leicester. But I don't think Duncan Ferguson wants, the Everton job on a permanent basis anywhere. Obviously, that Everton, believe that, Carlo Ancelotti is the right candidate to replace Marco Silva. Marco Silva was sacked earlier on this month. Everton, of course, have had a few other managers on their agenda. There was talks about David Moyes going back to Everton, because he enjoyed 11 years there with Everton Football Club when he was younger. He was there from 2002 to 2013. There was also talks of Umar Imre possibly going there. He was actually, sacked from Arsenal last month. But obviously, Umar Imre had turned down the Everton job. So yeah, so he should be announced tomorrow on Friday that Carlo Ancelotti, will be their new manager in that. But like I said, Carlo Ancelotti, he's totally a comparison to Umar Imre. He's totally a comparison to Mikel Arteta. I don't know if Carlo Ancelotti will do a good job at Everton. If he'd have gone to Arsenal, I don't think he'd have done that well with Arsenal. Carlo Ancelotti's got a really, really good pedigree behind him. Reflecting on the amount of silverware he's won. I think he's won 15 major honours, Ancelotti so far during his managerial career. He's the age of 60 years old. He's managed a variety of clubs, obviously when he was younger, during his managerial, in his managerial career when he was younger. Obviously, he was managing in Italy. He managed the likes of Juventus, Parma, AC Milan. Was at Milan for several years. Then obviously, emulated himself up. Obviously, managed the likes of Chelsea. He won the double with Chelsea. He spent a couple of seasons with Chelsea. But the question is, what he did at Chelsea. Can he replicate that at Everton? And that is the question. He was at PSG. He was at Barcelona. Not Barcelona, Real Madrid, sorry. Bayern Munich, so he's managed a variety of clubs as Ancelotti, and I think he is, decorate. He's one of the most decorated managers of all time. He's Ancelotti, but I think a lot of Everton fans, will be happy, about Ancelotti going in there. Ancelotti was sacked by Napoli last Tuesday, as you all know, despite the fact that. Napoli comfortably beat Genk 4-0 and progressed into the Champions League knockout stages. Ancelotti, I want to say as well, has also won 3 Champions Leagues. He's won titles in Italy, Germany and France. But I don't know if he'll do well with Everton and that. But I think a lot of Everton fans, do believe he's the right solution for them. Mikel Arteta, he obviously played for Everton as well during his playing career. He played for Everton as well as Arsenal. He played for a few other clubs, did Arteta. I think he played for Real Sociedad. He played for PSG. He obviously, played at Barcelona. He actually began his career with Barcelona. So do you think Arteta, is the right manager for Arsenal? So once they've come to an agreement on his compensation, that he should be officially announced as Arsenal manager. But like I said, it will be within the next 48 hours. But Emery was sacked, nearly 3 weeks ago now. Arsenal sacked Emery after just 18 months in charge. Like I said, Arsenal had come out with a few reasons, why. Obviously, they'd sacked him because, the performances and the results weren't at the level, as required in that, But they did obviously get rid of him. There's obviously been other managers on their agenda as well before. Obviously, there was talks of Nuno Santo going there. At one point, Brendan Rodgers was linked with a managerial role at Arsenal, but obviously, with him signing that new contract the other week at Leicester, that fended off Arsenal basically. But yeah, it's looking very, very imminent, that Arteta is going to become Arsenal's new manager. And Ancelotti, of course, is going to become Everton's new manager. But like I said, managers have been getting sacked left, right and centre, and possibly, Solskjaer, could be the next manager sacked. But, Ancelotti got sacked last week from Everton. Napoli, should I say, my mistake. Obviously, Sanchez Flores got sacked from Watford. You got Emery sacked from Arsenal. Pochettino sacked from Tottenham, was it a month or 2 ago? So it just indicates out now how ruthless the boards are, because now managers don't get the time that they would currently like. Yeah. So that's the latest news regarding that. I obviously give you the news earlier on today. That obviously it will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 1 year anniversary as Manchester United manager tomorrow. Obviously, he's going to be celebrating that. So that's obviously very, very good. Solskjaer's recently spoken about the importance of us winning silverware and that, because we need to get back, to being a competitive elite level football club and get us back. We need to get back up there, winning silverware. That's obviously our big ambitions for the future. That's what it basically means. But he says this year's gone fast. Solskjaer, he says he's really, really enjoyed it. Despite the fact that he's endured a difficult 9 months or so, because he's obviously been here in total now for a year tomorrow, but he's obviously been a permanent boss for them around 9 months. as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But he did say, it's been an honour and it has been a privilege. And I think, Solskjaer is hopeful, that he can turn around his managerial tenure at the football club, because obviously he's been aware of the amount of pressure that he's been under. For the vast majority of this season, he has been under intense pressure as Solskjaer, reflecting, on our, bad results and bad performances and not exceeding expectations, as we should be. And, we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. Obviously in the league at the moment, we're sitting sixth. We're sixth in the league. We've registered 25 points from 17 league games. We're 4 points behind top four. I haven't fully disregarded that top four anywhere, because we're still in it, because we're only 4 points behind. If we'd have beaten Everton on Sunday, obviously, would have only been 2 points behind. So that was very disappointing in that aspect. But I still think, we can get that top four this season. We are nearly now halfway into the season, but there's still plenty of points to play for. But definitely the league is a priority. I've also got to say that the Europa League is a priority. I think we can win the Europa League. We're definitely not good enough to win the Europa League. Obviously, if we win the Europa League like we did in 2017 under the Jose Mourinho era, we get automatic qualification for the Champions League and that. But if we don't win the Europa League, then obviously, we've got to make sure, we do finish in that top four, because Champions League football is always very, very imperative, especially when you want to attract players to the elite level. But we will see what happens. As you all know, now we are currently in action against Colchester at Old Trafford in the Carabao Cup quarter final. Hopefully, that we can progress to the semi-finals of the competition. I'm very, very hopeful about that. Indeed, like I said, Solskjaer has made a variety of changes in that. He'll play a lot of the youngsters in this game. He's not taking this as a meaningless game, no, Solskjaer. He's actually said as well that, the Carabao Cup or the EFL Cup, whatever they call it now, is definitely now a priority. It's a chance, to get some silverware on the board, because we've lacked silverware in the last 6 or 7 years, as I think you are all aware of. But it is a great opportunity. We know, obviously, Villa are in the semis. They beat Liverpool comfortably 5-0 yesterday. But obviously, Liverpool had their under-21s out. That's the only reason that happened. Liverpool, obviously, played tonight, didn't they? So, obviously, they rested all their star players, for that. I think last time I checked, Leicester were winning 2-0 against Everton. So, it's looking very imminent they're going to be in the semi-finals. City, I think, are winning at Oxford and that. But, yeah. So hopefully now we can beat Colchester. But like I've said to you guys on my recent videos and that, I've said it for a long time, should I say. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the right manager for Manchester United. And, you can take into account we've had some good results under him. You can say we did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager, because we exceeded expectations, the results were good, the performances were good, and he got the best out of these group of players. But since he got the job permanently in March, it's been totally comparison to what I saw in that 3-month period. And the mistake we did make was giving him the job. We should have never given him the job in the first place. I'm very, very sceptical that Man United will sack him at this present time, because obviously the vast majority of our players are still willing to keep faith in him. Ed Woodward's still determined to stand by him. You've got the board that are determined to back him in the next couple of windows. So we won't sack him now. Obviously, if we decide to sack him any time within this 3-year period, because he's got a 3-year contract with $7.5 million a year, then obviously we'll have to pay something in compensation to her. What? Yeah. Then we'll have to pay something in compensation to get rid of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But we won't sack him now. I can assure he will be here in January. I presume he will also, will be here at the end of the season. But, for me, I've got too many elements of concerns about him, despite the fact that I love him deep down. But like I've said on recent videos, whether his managerial tenure at Manchester United works out or not, we'll never forget what he's done to the football club. Prime example, was a good player for us for 11 years. Has got that proven pedigree as a player. But as a manager, I just think, he's totally a comparison to how he was as a player. He hasn't really got a pedigree behind him, as a manager, and that, not really to the highest level. Let's be honest, he hasn't got that managerial experience. Taking into account he's more experienced than Mikel Arteta as a manager. Arteta's obviously never actually managed. If he goes to Arsenal, obviously that will be his a new start to his managerial career, because a coaching assistant's obviously not a manager, is it? So, but Solskjaer's Man United's his third club his managerial career so far, because before he came to Man United, he managed Mould. He managed them for a couple. He managed Mould. He won a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould. Obviously, before he was at Mould, he enjoyed a really short tenure with Cardiff. He only managed around 28 or 29 games for Cardiff, but he actually, ended up getting them relegated. So this is the reason why he was sacked by Cardiff. And some Man United fans did fear earlier on in the season that he could replicate at Man United what he produced with Cardiff. Don't forget there has been a few managers on our agenda who could replace him. Pochettino's been relentlessly linked with a managerial role at Man United. Obviously, don't forget, not too long ago, there was a lot of speculation regarding Massimiliano Allegri, but I think we need to see a variety of changes. We don't only need a change of management, we need a, change of board, because our board are a liability, quite clearly. They've been like that for several years. I think, we need to get rid of Ed Woodward, because he's obviously not reliable enough to oversee our transfer business. I think it would be beneficial as well, like I said, if we get a new director of football in that. And I still believe there's more players there that need to leave the football club. I think we need to get rid of another 4 or 5 more players next year. Despite the fact that a lot of players have left since Solskjaer's arrival. But my element of concerns I've got about him is that, he doesn't have a style of play, Solskjaer. No plan B, no intuition on how to manage, especially a big club like Man United. He's been tactically naive for the vast majority of this season. Okay, in some games, we've showed tactical flexibility, which I've credited him for. But I've got too many element concerns about him, Solskjaer and that. But we've done well against elite opposition this season, and we just haven't replicated that against their lower opposition, and that is a shame to see. The wins against Tottenham and Man City, you can definitely say saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club. But all it takes is for us now to go on another bad run, and I think the pressure will mount back up on him. But, like I said, we've got to improve against lower opposition. And to be fair, we did that against Alkmaar. But, we've drawn too many games in the league this season. We've drawn 7 games. That's what? Around 14 points dropped there. And I think the vast majority of those draws that we've had, we should have arguably won. We've lost 4 games so far this season. But we've done, our record this season has improved against the elite opposition, because it wasn't so good against, our record wasn't so good against the top sides last season. But for me, I do want Solskjaer out, but I think there again, if we got rid of him, it wouldn't really solve a lot of problems at the football club. Let's just see who we can get in January. Solskjaer recently said that signings are not guaranteed in January, but he's obviously making plans for January, because it isn't long until the January transfer window opens. And we've got to get the right calibre players to Manchester United next year. That's very imperative. That's very imperative, without shadow of a doubt. We've got to get the right calibre players into the football club. Our recruitment has got to improve. But yeah, Solskjaer's going to get a spending spree of around £250 million anywhere, so that should be enough for us to get the right number of players in. should be enough for us, to address obviously the deficiencies in the squad, because next year, we need an attacking midfielder. We also need a defensive midfielder. We need a couple of strikers as well. We need someone to come in who can assure us goals and someone who can obviously, create chances. We need a right winner, and there's possibly, other areas in the squad as well that need to be addressed. But, £250 million could get us around, 3 or 4 players at least. It's dependent on how we are with our recruitment. Are we going to be sensible with our recruitment, or are we going to overpay for players? And that is the question. And we've overpaid for players definitely in recent years. I obviously gave you the news, didn't I? Earlier on today. It was this morning. I give you the breaking news regarding Erling Haaland, and that it's very, very imminent now. I think we're going to sign Erling Haaland in January. He's going to be our first signing in January, our 4th signing overall under the Mulligan and Solskjaer era. Because I think Erling Haaland's preference is to come to Manchester United anywhere. Don't forget Solskjaer flew to Austria. It was last Friday he flew to Austria with Ed Woodward to have negotiations with Erling Haaland. And obviously more speculation is being fuelled, with Erling Haaland, signing a Manchester United shirt. Fabrizio Romano, who was obviously an Italian journalist, I think is quite reliable. He's confirmed that Man United, Juventus, Borussia Dortmund and Red Bull Leipzig have all, placed their bids in for, Erling Haaland. But I think he actually, does want to come to Manchester United. He does want to come to Man United and that. He does want to come to the club. And Erling Haaland, don't forget, recently had negotiations with Borussia Dortmund's representatives and Red Bull Leipzig's representatives. So possibly, could go to one of them. I think recently Mini Raiola has actually urged Erling Haaland not to join Man United. But it confirmed today that we're set to sign Erling Haaland for £76 million in January. But he will be loaned back to Red Bull Salzburg for the remainder of the season. But either way, we've still got him in the bag anywhere. But I think he dramatically improves. He's dramatically improves. He can score goals. He can create chances. And I think it would be beneficial overall anywhere for us to recommend another number 9 in. He's been a revelation this season for Red Bull Salzburg. I think this is his first season Red Bull Salzburg.
At least you're learning your lesson, aren't you? At least you're not wasting your money in the pub.
No, I'm not, no.
You do right. Go out next week. I'll go out tonight next week as well. Or a day and a bit.
Yeah.
What's that? Could from change some haircut?
Mm.
Alright. Oh, who's this? Charlie. Hi Charlie, what are you doing? You and laughing you went get your bank details. What for? What in bank details?
It's a lot of crap, that cash register. It's a lot of shit.
You're under it tomorrow.
Yeah, but it shuts on Friday, so I might as well just try my luck twice.
Well, how come it's never fucking us?
Yeah. It's never our side at family, it never is.
I know.
It's never me, you, Gene or Caroline, and it's never us, it never is. It's always someone from miles away.
Yeah, I know.
But like I was saying, yeah, Erling Haaland has been a revelation this season for Red Bull Salzburg. This is for season with them, like I said, 28 goals, is it, in 22 games in all competitions. But he would be fantastic for Man United. And he's played under Solskjaer's guidance anywhere during his time with Mould. And Solskjaer, of course, is keen on a reunion with the player. So he's our number 1 priority target for January. Jadon Sancho's also one of our priority targets. And there's also been a lot of other players on our agenda in that. There has been a lot of players on our agenda. But, like I said, we don't want to persistently keep sacking managers anywhere. We've already sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era. Obviously we got rid of, David Moyes after 10 months. The mistake Ferguson made there was obviously recommending him in at that time. He enjoyed 10 months at Man United. It's the only mistake Ferguson made, by the way. We've made a lot of mistakes in the last 6-7 years. Van Gaal left after was it a year or something, because his philosophy wasn't right for the club and the football was turgid under Van Gaal. He didn't obviously at that time replicate Man United what he did with Bayern Munich before we appointed him in. But we did win the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal. And Jose Mourinho, he enjoyed a 2.5-year tenure at the club, won the Europa League and League Cup in his first season, but didn't work out for him, and he enjoyed a 2.5-year tenure. So he's actually, the longest serving manager we've had since the Alex Ferguson era, But like I said, we'll never be the team that we was under Ferguson, regardless of who our manager is, and I can definitely assure that Solskjaer won't invoke Ferguson's legacy to save Man United. It will never happen. I know, Ferguson transformed Solskjaer into a winner and that, but, he won't, we won't replicate, what we did under Ferguson. Don't forget, recently Ferguson was discussing about his legacy at Man United. He's left a lot behind, as you know, Alex Ferguson. There's actually still some players here from the Ferguson era, but overall, anyway, Ferguson did develop a lot of young players. Taking into account he didn't win out in his first 4 years. If that had been this day and age now, obviously he wouldn't have got that amount of time. But look what he accomplished after that 4-year period. He was at Man United for 26, 27 years. Solskjaer, replicates him in that aspect of obviously, recruiting young players in, because Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players, just like he did do during the course of the summer transfer window and that. He recommended 3 good players to the squad. We spent nearly £150 million in the summer. That was on James, Bissaka and Maguire. They've been our best players, the new signings who we got in the summer. They've all done really, really well. So they haven't been accountable for any of our bad performances and results this season. I've got to, be honest about that. I said, though, recently I think some players have stepped up to the plate. There's still probably some players in the team that need to step up to the plate, because some of them some individual performances have obviously been bad. So still some players need to improve, but a lot have rejuvenated themselves recently. But there's still aspects of our game that do need to be improved, definitely. And that good news is more players are coming back from injury as well, which I'm delighted about, because we've had a lot of injuries this season. Due to that, Solskjaer's had to make a lot of alterations in the squad. Pogba's been out with injury for 3 months. He's obviously recovered now from an ankle injury, but obviously he's out with illness, so he isn't playing tonight against Colchester. Diego Dalot's obviously been out of injury quite a few times this season, but Bay and Fosu-Mensah, I think should be training, this week, because Solskjaer revealed they would be back in training anyway. There have been long-term absences of Bay and Fosu-Mensah. They've both had knee injuries, But it's good that, more players are coming back from injury. Rojo's obviously got, I think, a muscular problem. He's out until next year, so I think he should be back in the new year, and all that. But the main part of this video, anyway, guys, was to give you the news regarding Mikel Arteta, Arsenal Arteta appointing him as their new manager. So just wanted to give you an update on that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. We'll be on for a match reaction tomorrow for the Man United Colchester game. And take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.